now we know it can be done.
Huh?
We know it can be done.
I don't know that before. On that runway, remember?
No, on the lift.
Did you feel that one?
Yep.
Why would you think it couldn't be done?
Scary.
Especially after the oil pissed out of the tip.
Yeah.
Ballsy of you to do it.
Yeah. Lower it back down, and you can you put that window up? Welcome to another vlog, guys. So I'm doing some car shuffling. We got rid of the 370 this morning, sent it off to wheel alignment, and as you can see, the red S14's not under there anymore. I've got the red S14 out the front. The A86 was in my other shed over there. Our 86.
Our 86 that you just did 2 burnouts in.
I didn't film the first one, but the first one was a reverse burnout. I was in reverse, you know. Yeah, that was light revs because I didn't want to damage anything. But I did tell you guys at 50,000 we were going to do a twin burnout on here. I've done a burnout down the bottom, and I've done a burnout up the top. I need to get to 100k before we do it with 2 cars. I'm too scared, honestly. I need 100k subscribers before we're doing a stacked burnout in here. I definitely want to do it. 50k is not enough. I need 100k before I do something that silly and potentially get a car squashed underneath it from silliness. Obviously the car at the bottom, we're going to make sure we have a caged car at the bottom when we do it. There's still, you know, chance things could go wrong, so I don't want to mess around with that. Anyway, we have some freaking huge news, but first things first, the reason I've put that car up there is the S13's coming home. Frosty's run out of room, so the S13's going to come back here for a little bit. We are still getting that ready for an event, hopefully later this month, but it's coming back here. I've also got the Falcon back here. I've got some huge news with the Falcon, but yeah, we'll get on to moving some more stuff around, and yeah.
When are you going to tell them about the Falcon?
I'm going to tell them.
When?
In this vlog.
Oh.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. We've got to unload the Falcon, and we'll have a bit of a chat about the Falcon, and then tell you guys what we're going to do with the Falcon. I might have put it in the thumbnail. I don't know.
I feel like
Did I put it in the thumbnail?
There's going to be a lot of upset people, but I think there's going to be a lot of people that are like, oh my God.
How can you be mad at it?
I mean, it's just the reverse of what other people do, literally.
It's just the complete opposite of
what everyone that's going to complain does.
Yeah. So it's going to be rad. I think it's going to be super cool. And I think from what we're doing, it's like, can you even be mad about it, really?
I mean, I don't like Falcons, so I'm mad about everything about them. Including how hard,
did you just
how much they suck to do a burnout in.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say the fact that I just bought a new radiator and stuff for it, and you saw the purchases.
I did see them.
Yeah, only cheap shit anyway. To be fair, it's a Falcon. China radiator, China overflow, seat rails coming for it. Anyway, I'll unload it all and we'll get to talking about that. Damn it. Alright guys, you're going to have to bear with the sound because I plan to set up my mics and they're flat. I haven't used them in ages. Anyway, I'm going to crack a can and we'll talk about exactly what's going on. Now, I'm going to Japan. We have an American trip coming up. There's a lot going on with the Corvette and everything in the States. The Corvette's moved from New York. The Corvette and the Escalade and the trailer and everything of mine has moved from New York down to Atlanta with my buddy Jace, because Jace knows his Corvette. He has a bit of free time, and he's trying to get the Holly ECU that I've got for the Corvette. So Holly's came on board as a partner. So I've got a whole Holly Terminator or Dominator, the big Holly, got the Holly Dash, all the Holly stuff to hopefully make my Corvette way, way better. So, you know, the last 2 times I've used that car in competition, the car's just cut out, and we cannot for the life of us work out why. So we have, you know, made the leap, reached out, and we made a deal happen with Holly. Anyway, I want to do Japan. As you guys know, you know, our only real income right now is we're flipping cars here and there, but more from point of view, you know, majority of our money is made now from YouTube and merch. So definitely check out lukefink.com, grab yourself some merch, that'll help us infinitely. We do have a lot of savings that we saved up, and, you know, through various deals and things where we've ended up in an okay position just for now. You know, the hope is that we can make this YouTube thing work, and, you know, through various other things, and make that our living, but it's not yet, you know. Like I said, I'd love to get up to 100K and be able to do a double stack burnout for you guys, but look, Japan's coming up, and sitting around having a drink with the boys, some CCs, and I've contacted everybody I know in Japan. I'm like, right, I want a car in Japan. What am I looking at? Like, what are the prices like these days? Mind you, the last car I bought in Japan, 2,000 Australian dollars, and it was the C34 Laurel, the one we ended up bringing back to Australia. I bought that car for 2 grand, and it was like a running driftable car, like had dents and whatnot, but a ready to drift car. And I actually rented the car out for 2 days of drifting for 2 grand. So the car literally owed me nothing. Moving forward, looking at cars now, the cheapest bottom of the barrel car I've seen, 15 grand for like a beat to crap S chassis, let alone your JZX is a big money now, you know, you're talking 20 grand. And obviously the cars have to be reasonably clean to pass the rules now at Bissu with, you know, all panels, roll cage, seats, harnesses, all that good stuff. So it's like, right, I don't have 15, 20 grand to spend on a car in Japan. What about, and this is the thing, I've always thought about this, of how crazy it would be to take a car from Australia to Japan, and we're gonna make it happen, guys. I'm super stoked to announce that we are taking my BF BARRA powered Falcon to Japan. I can't even express how excited I am, guys. This, like, I'm going to America for 2.5 months, right? I'm doing No Coast Bash, Hollyfest, LZ Canada World Tour. I've got one of my best buddies' weddings. I'm going to SEMA. I'm doing all this crazy stuff in America, and all I can think about is when I get back from the States, we're back in Australia for 3 days. At that point, the Falcon will already be in Japan. We come back to Australia for 3 days, and then we jet off to Japan for 2 weeks in Japan. And this Falcon, this freaking Falcon sitting here in my driveway, is going to be in Japan at a Bissu circuit. We haven't worked out. There's a few things in the background whether it's going to be at Bissu or in maybe Tokyo or somewhere closer to the airport. Because there is a very small chance that we're going to be able to drive this car on the road in Japan and go visit all the coolest spots that you see all of our Japanese legend cars. You know, Daikoku, Shibuya Crossing, like all of those insane spots. I'm potentially going to be able to take a Falcon there, which is beyond words, guys. I'm just a person that I'm more of a person that just uses stuff that makes sense, and you know what I mean. All your Japanese cars now are so expensive. Yes, I did just buy a JZX 100 Mark II. I also just sold my 8.6. I actually got rid of my 8.6 for more than I paid for the JZX 100, and that money left over could send this to Japan twice, put it that way. So there's obviously a lot needs to happen. I've been in touch with Andy at Power Vehicles. He's given me the green light. I'm going to be able to store the car at Ibisu. Obviously, it's going to be basically a Power Vehicles approved car now, which means I need to put a full roll cage in it. I have roll cage piping here behind me. You obviously know I did the roll cage in Suzuki. I'm going to enlist some more professional help to the roll cage in the Falcon, because you know Ibisu's no joke. You know, people do roll there. That's why the rules are in place. I have these two seats behind me. I'll go into more detail when I take the camera off the stand. But these two seats behind me I've had for a really, really long time. I had these, oh, it's got a date on, 2013 I got these seats, and that was for winning the UK Gymkhana Championship, and then I won the entire European Gymkhana Championship in a drift car, and it was a pretty rad time. But these were like prizes, or technically they're like trophies, because they've got the writing on them, so that's kind of cool. So I figure this whole project is insane. So finally I'm going to be using these seats. If you don't already know, guys, or you can't tell, you're always losing some weight. Very 5 kilos down. I aim to be another sort of 15 to 20 kilos lighter by the time Japan comes, and which is hard because I've gone to America for 2.5 months, but I'm pretty, you know, I think I was like 110 kilos and I fit it easy into these seats. The aim is to get down to 100. And guys, like, since I've been doing vlogs, I've never been under 110 kilos, I don't think. So, you guys have never seen me that thin. But obviously, those seats are going in. You've got NRG harnesses here that they're a partner of mine from America, so I'm going to have harnesses in it. Look, we've got a ton of stuff we're going to be doing. I just ordered a radiator. I just ordered a expansion tank for it. The expansion tanks are something in a Falcon that's known to fail. I have valve springs. I need all the advice from the Ford people, the BARRA people possible. But what I'm also calling out for in this video, guys, anybody that wants to get on board with this insane project, hit me up on Instagram or send me an email, cluboutrun@gmail. If you want to get on board with this insane project, or you have any ideas to do with this project, we have 4 to 5 weeks before this thing has to ship off. Obviously, I'm also leaving the country in 4 weeks or 5 weeks to go to Japan, America. On August 25th, we head off to America. So this needs to be done by then. Realistically, roll cage, probably 2 days of work. The car needs to be one colour. I want to paint it one colour, so I'm probably just going to paint the car that blue over the whole car. That bonnet vent needs to go on. I need to work out something to deal with the camber in the rear of the car. I need to collect spares, because obviously there's no Falcons in Japan. I'm positive this is going to be the first BARRA Falcon, or probably Falcon full stop for that matter. I know there's a Commodore Ute and there's some Maloo Utes actually on the street in Japan, but there is a Commodore Ute at Ibisu. Power Vehicles have it still, and it is for sale over there. So if you want to beat me to the Aussie car in Japan thing, it has been done as far as a Commodore, but never a Falcon, and definitely not a BARRA. So, you know, we've got a bunch more things to do. I'm hoping to get a few more little aero bits done to this car. There's a company locally that makes like front lips and things like that for these cars, so I'm going to try and get hold of some of that stuff to jazz it up a bit more. I want to get a camber kit in the front. I'm going to be talking to my homies at AU House, see if we can get even more angle out of the front of this car. I've already got the Shockworks. The Shockworks suspension in this car is actually ridiculous. This car, I swear on my kids' lives, handles just as good, if not better. It hurts me even saying this, than my JZXs. I'm serious. It's really freaking good. So yeah, I don't know. It is lighter. Obviously, some stuff's cut out of the back, so it is much more nimble than probably a Falcon should be. I need to try and find some extractors. I want to get the car retuned, maybe with a slightly spicier tune, knowing that I'm going to be able to run the car on the Japanese 100 octane fuel. I may look into, hopefully, an set of oil pump gears. I'm going to get the old engine back, and we're going to open that up before we go, see if there's any damage to the bottom end. If there's no damage to the bearings in that car and all it needs is a fresh oil pump setup, we'll obviously do that and hopefully take a whole spare engine with me. I'm going to try find a spare T5 gearbox and take that with me. And obviously there's grand plans in the future, guys. Like, I've already got the turbo rear end in the car, the big axles, the big diff and everything. But the way I see things going, I figure this isn't going and then coming back, guys. This car's going to Japan to stay. So we, potentially, I'd love to work with, Australian companies and potentially build up, a turbo, like a bulletproof turbo BARRA setup with a really good gearbox behind it, and then, eventually ship that to Japan. And I know it's crazy, but how insane would it be? Because these can be competitive, and I really think they could be competitive if set up right, and you know what I mean? Like, there's no reason why this would be any less competitive than a JZX. So my thoughts are, there's potential to do FD Japan, right? I think there is. Imagine seeing a Ford Falcon BARRA powered in Japan competing in FD Japan. I just think that's insane, but I think it's not that far of a stretch. The car's already there, it's already going to be roll caged, I'm going to be close enough to spec. We may need to get a bit more done to the cage in Japan to get it fully up to spec. These are spec seats, I've got spec harnesses. The car's got the suspension work in it. I need to get some more adjustable stuff in the rear end of the car to be able to really dial it in and get the camber right and all that sort of stuff. So again, if there's any companies that do suspension arms and all that sort of stuff for the Falcons, please reach out to me. Let's work together. I'm sure this is going to create a lot of controversy, but a lot of hype as well. How can you be mad? Like I was talking to Tiana earlier, you're really talking about taking an Aussie car to Japan. Forever, it's the dream to bring all the Japanese cars home to Australia, home to America, bring them to Europe, you know what I mean? Like, we've always done that, but how insane would it be, is it going to be, to be able to take an Australian car back to Japan? And speaking to friends in Japan already, they think that the Japanese are absolutely going to love this thing. So, obviously some will love it, some will hate it, whatever. That goes for all cars in general. I just think this is going to be insane, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'm going to grab the camera off the stand and let's go through a little bit more of this car. And also want to show you my bench that I just got finished. So, cheers to that, lads. I hope you're excited, because I'm so freaking excited. LukeFink.com, jump on there, grab yourself a shirt and stuff. Obviously, I need to do a design for the Japan Falcon. This is literally going to be the Japan Falcon. This is insane. I'm losing my mind ever since I found out this was a possibility. I don't know if I already mentioned it, but huge shout out to Dory Junkie, the guys that imported my JZX 100 Mark II, the most recent one. They're also the guys that brought back the Laurel from Japan for me. They're the ones that are doing all the work behind the scenes to get this car to Japan and quite possibly on the road in Japan. And then we're obviously going to, and then Andy at Power Vehicles, facilitating the whole Ibisu side of things. Obviously, I want to take this to other tracks in Japan as well. Nikko Circuit, Bihoku, like, how insane would this be? A Miha? Like, yes, it's only NA, but it goes good. It'll drive in third. It's got a 411 diff. I don't know, man. I'm probably way more excited than I should be. I'm freaking going to, like, before I even go to Japan, I'm going to America to drift my C6 Corvette all over the States. But this genuinely has me more excited right now, and let's look at some other bits of the car. All right, first things first, my bench. I just had the top bent up, guys. Big shout out to my buddy Clayton. Nice little 90-degree bend there, and then I've got a splash guard at the back, full meter top on the new bench that I've just built. If you don't know, clearly space is an issue for me in this little bench. Look at this huge bench and then this little bench. It's a little bit higher, so it suits me more. A ton more space for me to do what I need to do here in the shed, because we got a lot of work to do. I need to get, might be in this video, probably in the next video, I've got some work I need to do on my JZX100 before tomorrow to get the exhaust tucked up and get that car off to an alignment. I got to get the exhaust tucked up so I can drop the back of the car and so I can get it to alignment. Anyway, we're talking about this right now. These are these seats. They are a special like monster collab Gymkhana grid, which is obviously Ken Block's Gymkhana grid events. So he was at the Spain event. Fun fact, my times in a rear-wheel drive car were faster than Ken's times in his Gymkhana Fiesta. So that's pretty freaking cool. Anyway, this was UK. This was the UK final that I won. I was the fastest by a long shot. It was the very first time I ever did Gymkhana. It was just on a whim. I was actually staying near Silverstone at the time. The Low Brain Drifters team who I had driven for in the past called me up and said, are you keen to come and do it? Just rock up and drive. And I was like, you know what, let's do it. And yeah, we came away with that. And the prize for the UK one was the trip to Spain to compete in the final. So obviously we went ahead and did that. And then I got lucky enough to win the final as well. Super rad. Anyway, so those seats are going in here. I've got a whole ton of roll cage piping right there, ready to go into the Falcon. Obviously, she's a BARRA. We know that. I've got this bonnet vent that was on my AU Falcon, that was also on my 370. I think it was actually on my 350 at some point as well. Is obviously going to go onto this Falcon. I've got my NRG steering wheel and boss kit on this car now. Obviously, it's got Shockworks. I'm going to be painting the entire car this blue. I've got some GK Tech Ganador style mirrors that are going to go in this thing. I want to get a roof spoiler. I want to get, there's a really cool, like I said, there's a really cool front lip and these little side skirt extensions. I need to get a new rear bar altogether. My rear bar's kind of dead. Need a rear tail light, a little bit of body work here and there. I need a passenger front door. I also probably, yeah, so I got a big dent in that door, so I need to replace that door. I need some more camber in the front of the car. There's a ton of work to be done, guys. The BARRA needs to be, that is the new, well, brand new to me motor in there. It is running. It's not quite perfect and finished yet. We're gonna obviously get the new radiator coming. We deleted the AC, so we need to run a different belt. Any BARRA guys, if you deleted AC, what do you run as far as a belt? Do you run a tensioner, etc.? Please let me know in the comments, because I've deleted the AC out of this car. Boys, I'm pumped. I need extractors. The exhaust on this car is not bad, but if, you know, someone came on board and could do a better, proper, good flowing NA exhaust, that would be pretty sick. I don't know, I'm just beyond excited, guys. I just think this is going to be absolutely insane. We're obviously going to try and make this thing look a ton cooler and but definitely more like Japanese inspired look going for this car, where I don't know, guys, I'm absolutely ecstatic. I'm through the roof. I really hope you guys are stoked for it. The plan is to do all the work we need to do on this car with the cage and get it all set up. And then later this month, I think the 22nd, there's a drift day. We're going to take it out and test it. Frosty's going to have a drive. I'll have a drive. We'll get this thing tested, make sure it's ready to go. And then I guess a week or two after that, this thing will get shipped off to Japan and be waiting for me to get there in the start of November. So I'm super pumped. Let me know what you think. Is this insane? Is it crazy? I honestly think this is going to start a trend of not necessarily people sending their Falcons to Japan, but for a lot of us Aussies, our cars here, or if you have a second car here, it's probably a lot more viable sending your car from here or sending your second car from here to Japan. You know what I mean? It's a car that you've tested, you know is good, you know what I mean? Like, you have experience in it. It's not flying to Japan hoping the random car you bought works. You know, you hear of horror stories all the time from Japan of drivers going over there and buying a car, spending a ton of money, and, you know, the engine blows up straight away, the turbo blows up, you know, like, shit just happens, yeah? Like, they're old cars, they're all old. You know, you're buying a JZX 100. A JZX 100 is a lot older than this. This is like a 2006. Your JZX 100 is a 96, you know what I mean? So, yeah, all these older cars, they're old, you know? So that is something, you know, that is definitely a factor these days. Overall, I couldn't be more pumped. I'm sure you guys can tell I'm just absolutely through the roof, pumped. Now I need to get a ton more work done. If you're not already, guys, subscribe. Let's get to 100K. I want to get to 100K. I want to be able to do this, you know, as like a full-time job. I know I took a week off just recently. There's a ton going on in the background. If you knew, you would understand. And to be fair, it's absolutely nobody's business why I took that week off. But trust me, it was very, very important. And it is what it is. You guys don't need to know. But everything's all good now moving forward. We're taking a Falcon to Japan. I'm freaking pumped. Subscribe. Tune into the next video. We're going to be getting to work on my JZX 100 Mark II. Peace out, guys. See you in the next one.
When it come to chats, we don't take none. Shit. Bad man Jamaica. Trinity global sensation. Mobbing till the day come. Yeah, till the day come. Red, white, black flag, baddie gone.